Good evening, folks, and welcome back to Biblical Britain Uncoded, or quite a belated edition. Firstly, just to let you know that the situation as far as coding goes, bear with me, I had this right and now it doesn't want to play. The situation with coding is it's exactly the same as it was since October, basically, when, for whatever reason, the coding was coming in like rush hour on the M4, on the motorway, and then all of a sudden it just came to a grinding halt, and the only kind of coding I've been getting ever since then is essentially from triggers. For anybody new, right, I don't even know how to begin to explain it, but right, the first thing I'm going to say, this video I'm doing it's going to be quite casual again, like the last one really, and I'm just sort of like a little bit shooting from the hip, so bear with me. Okay, yeah, the code I get is either it was coming for years, for about 5 years, but obviously at increasing pace really. I was getting these, I don't even know what you call it, downloads I suppose you'd call it, and these thoughts just coming into my head, and these thought codes basically just go here, go there, go, like almost like nagging thoughts if I didn't go to them. And when I go there, I would find these codes. As you can see, like the one on the board, which we'll get into that now. They're obviously written in the constellations, written in the atlas, with drawings in the atlas. And basically what I did, over a period of about 4 or 5 years, I suppose. It's been 6 years since this whole, it's probably about 6 years since this whole real experience started. And I was obviously, and I've been getting all these codes coming in, and I go there and I've uncovered, in fact, it's that much code. I almost don't want to make these videos because I start to write them. The reason I'm not writing them down is because, in a nice way, they're kind of driving me nuts, because you find something and then I try to, and then it links you to something else, to something else, to something else, and I've got to kind of like pull it all back in and try and follow one straight path, and the simplest path. So what you might get with this is there's going to be code that I'm gonna say or show you without actually writing up the whole thing, but anything I show you in code is going to be in the video. It will be in the videos with the breakdown, previous videos with the breakdown included of where it came from, and everything else. As you can see on the board, for anybody new, this was where we left. We kind of left off last time, and boy, is this ever as you can see. Bear in mind that I encoded this, I don't know whether it was it was 2 years ago, probably 2 years ago, I think, roughly. And it comes from all the stars in the top bit. This bit here comes from all the stars in the constellation of Cancer, which we're going to get into that royal arch in Cancer and what it means. I've got some new code, but some of it is just going to kind of be going over it and show you how I came, how I found this evac ship. The Lammelin bit, really, the Lammelin and the land, as crazy as it sounds, the landing zone for the rescue ship that I uncoded. As crazy as that sounds, see it for yourself. It's not something I've just kind of made up off the top of my head, and in fact even for me it took some believing, I can tell you. And even now I'm always looking for a way to, like, could this be coincidence, or and I'm always questioning myself. I probably shouldn't, but I cannot, it's not. I try to logically find a reason that this all fits, and I cannot find. There is no logical reason. It is there. It exists. The code, it obviously exists, and the craziest part is that it all adds up, it all makes sense, and it all comes back to this evacuation at the time of the war, as I've put up there, which is unfolding as we speak. Okay, like I say, I don't want to get into everything, but Israel-Iran begin. Well, that is definitely, we already know. The USA obviously are involved, but it's USA and Israel's war. Israel actually kicked this war off, and really it's kind of Israel's war, all to do with this narrative that they've got with that they are the chosen people, and they're free to go murdering people, men, women and children, in the name of Yah, and clearly, or the creator, or this is what they're led to believe, which is far from the truth. And in fact, the code I've got tells you something very, very different, that they are not in fact the chosen people. The chosen people were the Siluri, a tribe of South Wales in the UK. As I'm going to show you, and from that we've actually found the real Jerusalem, which begins with a G. It's named after the constellation G-Roos the crane, and then you've got and obviously you've got the Melin, with Melin is the Lem backwards in, so you've got in Jerusalem, if you just take Jerusalem, Melin. Basically, right, okay, I don't want to complicate it, but we're going to get into it, because I'm going to go through the three kind of seals, because I've found, oh dear me, bear with me folks, unbelievably, I'm not having a good start here, am I? 2 seconds folks, let me get this right. It never rains what it pours. I said it was going to be a casual. Okay, right. Oh. I wish I had some decent equipment. I could do so much better with these videos. But it is what it is. The code is important, not the quality of it, I think. Right, okay. Right, where was I? Right, okay. Well, yeah, the three seals that make up the. Right, it's all in connection with the Royal Arch in Cancer. There are three main seals of Solomon that tie in to this. Right, before I get to that though, I'm going to get, right, going back, when you remember I was, like, this one is just made up of the stars in Cancer. But I did a series of about, I think it was 8 or 9 videos where there was an event, or there was an event related, something like with these star codes. Well, the one in question that I'm going to, in fact, let me just put it up on the board and we'll go from there. Bear with me a second, folks. Okay, folks, right, let me just line this up again. Right, bear with me folks. Nothing ever goes right when you need it to. Okay, right. I say, right, okay. Oh, dear me. So, somebody telling me not to do this video, I think. Let's see if it goes out. If it doesn't, if it uploads, it was meant to. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Right, okay, I'll try again. Right, sometimes events take place that relate or appear to relate to this code. Now, in this case, I'm not 100% sure. That's better. Right, I'm not 100% sure because, right, as you can see, going back, I encoded this, and I put Elon's Doge chip because it was all about Doge, the Doge thing at the time that was going on. Doge is just it's another anagram for e-god, electronic god, but it's Elon's Doge chip basically, and I encoded it as being this Stargate. Well, as you can see, right, for anybody new, these are made up of the constellations. I mean, you can go back through it and see it, but you know, if you go to the Elon Doge chip video, you'll get a list of them, so you can check it yourself, but I'm going to show you they're right. I've been over and over it. Okay, Aquelus, E is Equelis the pony, and all this is made up of the letters in the constellations that these make. So we got Equelis the pony, Lynx the feline, Ophiuchus or whatever it is, the serpent bearer, Norma the square rule, Sextans the sextant, I've got to change the order now, haven't I? Right, bear with me. Eridanus the river, Gemini the twins, Octans the octant, Draco the dragon, Carina the keel, Hydrus the water snake, Indus the Indian, and Pixis the compass. Okay. So basically, when I literally write those like Eridanus or whatever they were in order, then I unscrabble the letters, and the message is hidden in the letters written in the constellations. Okay, now there's a lot more to this, but to link everything into it, it's best to, I mean, if you want to see the original video, I'm using the same constellations. All I've done is I've rejigged it, because what I noticed on the last one, and I don't know how I did it, but I put Netanyahu, and there was and it was kind of slightly disjointed. And I kind of noticed it at the time, but if I'm honest, I got a little bit lazy really, and I was gonna, you know, one of them things you're gonna go back to, but you never do. Well, this kind of forced me to go back to it, so maybe it was meant to be. Well, probably was meant to be that I wrote it wrong did it wrong the first time, so that now I could put it right at the time where this code I think matters. Now, as you'll notice, right, you've got the 666 Stargate, so bear in mind that I've connected all this, well, this bit now we'll come to, I've connected all these different things, so they made this is kind of a multitude of code within one statement. And what I think it is, with the 9 videos I did, I think it makes one big statement. So you take all the war pieces out, you take all the, and it goes for all this code. I mean, really, if I haven't got the brain or the will to do it, to be honest, but I can guarantee if I put them all in order, you could literally make a rundown of all these things, link them all together, and it would make one huge statement, basically, or prediction. I mean, the way I've done it is kind of a broken a prediction with bit in the next one that relates to X or the war, the next one, and so on. And I'll give you an example of this. Right, another one I did was Corona Borealis, the Northern Crown, Corona Australis, the Southern Crown, and Pleiades, the Seven Sisters, which down the side gives you CCP, which is the Chinese Communist Party. Okay, because it's a war code. Okay, right. When I unravel that, for example, that says Russia, NATO, the North-South Crown War. So when the Old Testament, which is a rewritten version of the original Welsh Bible, tells you that the King of the North and the King of the South, which is also Gog and Magog, I encoded those, and it says, so Russia, NATO, the North-South Crown War, please ID Israel's error. A Corn Lines event, so here connects both. Okay, well, the Corn Line event is obviously the scythe, and interestingly enough, the scythe says, Marco, the big picture, again, I can't go through it all, there's a big picture of a scythe over North and South America, like a proper angel of death scythe. It's joined at Mexico, and Mexico is an anagram of Come Xi, which I decoded as Come Xi Jinping, which is China, effectively. So the reaping of America is ultimately going to be by China. Okay. Everybody obviously thinks that the Gog and Magog is something to do with Israel. Right, well, Israel, right, but the scythe actually says, Marco seen an angel sign, dollar collapses, US won't save Israel. Now that's important, because obviously Israel is the cornerstone of the Christian religion, the Jewish religion. It's the core, and everybody thinks that Jerusalem is in the Middle East and the Israel are the chosen people. The code that I've uncoded tells you completely different. That it's not that it's basically it's a nasty copy. Basically, this Ra's version. The serpent, who's the serpent, and if you take the word Israel and unscrabble it, it basically it's Ra lies. Okay, that's Israel. Okay, so the Ra lies, and obviously it tells you that they're going to be saved, and and they're the chosen people, and they'll be forgiven, and all the rest of it. Okay, so the side says US dollar collapses. Dollar collapses. US won't save Israel. I'm not sure which reign they go, but they're actually both falling into place as we speak. The dollar, the petrodollar is collapsing. This is where the Red Magadon or Armageddon president, the Red Magadon. If you take Armageddon and you unscrabble it, it'll give you Red Magadon because the red cap, the cap fits where it. He is the Antichrist, but. Antichrist is just a Christian version. It's the Christian version of what they've taken from the book of Daniel, which has been rewritten as well, and it's all in a bit of a complicated order, I think. I think it's been messed up, and the code still remains from the original story. Okay, so they've also done the same, like taking the word Armageddon out of the original Welsh Bible. And they've obviously placed it in, and they say a place called Armageddon. Well, it's not. It's actually a description of the man of sin. And if I'm honest, I think that really has some connection to the Epstein thing. The man of sin, who effectively is being blackmailed. And what he does is then cause the Battle of the Red Magadon, which is the Battle of Armageddon, which we are fast, unfortunately and sadly, heading to. And as I speak, Trump has basically threatened, I think it's from 1 o'clock this morning, it's now 20 to 12, 1 o'clock, I believe our time is when this kind of deadline expires, and he says he's going to destroy Iran completely or whatever, I don't know, but I don't see anything good coming from this. It's even possible he could use a nuke. If he doesn't, there's a strong danger that that Israel may use their Samson option. Again, they use biblical terms. The Samson option, which is basically if Israel doesn't survive, neither the world goes down with it, which is well, like I say. But anyway, okay, right. Now, the reason I got taken back to this is because all of a sudden, Benjamin Netanyahu, everybody's questioning him, where's Netanyahu? And what had happened? Well, Iran are claiming that, they bombed his house. They've admitted that they bombed his house and they killed his brother, Netanyahu's brother. But then Netanyahu seemed to disappear and he wasn't turning up for all these meetings, these war meetings, and he was always there. I know they're going to obviously try and palm it off as saying that he's hiding or whatever, so they don't kill him or whatever else. But I didn't realise, because at the time of uncoding this, when it said Netanyahu died, end of the Israel squatter's house, I took that to be the whole, like to use the words in the Old Testament, the whole house of Israel. So I thought maybe it was, my interpretation at the time, obviously because I didn't know, we're talking a year and a half ago, year ago at least, when I actually did this code. But now I'm thinking, and I cannot be positive because there's two things. One thing, he is dead because they blew up his house, and there's some strong rumour, and they're bringing out all these AI videos that he was killed in the airstrike. Well, that would explain the end of the Israel squatter's house. Bear in mind, he's actually Polish, and his name isn't really Netanyahu. His name is, he changed that to Hebrew, and it's supposed to say a gift from Yah, which is obviously blasphemous. The lion speaking, like I say, I could go into more detail, but either way, I'm starting to wonder if this hasn't already happened. And also it says the truth that the church serpent Ra hid, that Israel will be saved and all the rest of it, and what have you. Okay. So the question is he dead, and is it just AI? Now, there's some fantastic videos of him showing him in a, well, there's one in a cafe, there's another one where he had 6 fingers, there's another dodgy one and they've all been pinned as AI. There's been a couple more lately, I think, that have been brought out that look a bit more realistic. But to put it in perspective, I saw I don't know what you call it, a meme, is it, or something on TikTok somebody had made, and it's the same thing with the cafe. And you got Benjamin Netanyahu's 1 minute he's talking to the camera about that he's still alive, and the next minute he starts doing, like, is it parkour, like, you know, jumping on the counter and back flipping. And then you see ones with the Ayatollah comes in, and I don't know, but it's so realistic, and you cannot tell the difference. Now, I got a feeling that this may have actually happened. Oh, I've missed a piece out of here. Okay, right, there's a part missing here, and it's very important, and it should be by, right, here. Right, it says, and this is all part of the same code, I've just missed it off, but it says connect, not yet done. Okay, so if I put a little triangle, we'll put a little Solomon star there, and it should be in there. Okay, so I use that because that's going to become applicable when we go further in. Okay, connect not yet done. Now, if you've been watching and following these videos over the years, I kept on saying that and it's been clearly put in my head, but it kept going back to the passage that says, I show you things in ancient times, things not yet done. I can't remember the exact words, I'm paraphrasing a bit, but it says, so when they come to happen, or when they come to pass, you'll know that I did it. I am your God, well, inverted commas, God and Saviour, there is no other. I like to use the word, I am your Creator and Saviour, there is no other. Now, I think this directly, well, like I say, it's like, well, he clearly is revealing these things to me, because, and again, I still can't get my head around this. So forgive, folks. I can only show you what the code says. I still can't comprehend this, but I've got it in so many different ways and forms, and it just keeps coming up in such perfect code. Like I say, it's mixed in with so many other codes that all combine together and all relate to the same thing over and over. But obviously he's revealing to me that, well, this not yet done. He's showing me things in ancient times. Bear in mind that this comes from the constellations, and they were named I would go to say as far as they were probably named before the earth was even created. So he's showing me things in ancient times. So obviously, written in the constellations, this code has been put into the constellations, predicting the future or the prophecy of what is to come. Obviously, if and when, well, not if, I believe this is going to happen no matter what, but if it comes to pass or comes to happen that this is confirmed, that this truly did happen, you'll know he showed me things in ancient times, things not yet done. And in fact, just like the Israel-Iran begin, I did that two years ago, opens up last conflict. That conflict is rapidly opening up. You've got it, and it's about to go. I dread to think where it's going, but I can see it all opening up. You know, Iran, China and Russia are not, well, if Iran bear in mind that Iran borders with China and, I believe, China and Russia. I could be wrong, but they're in the same area basically, and both, well, certainly China relies on Iran for oil. They can get it from Russia, but obviously, well, I don't know if they can get enough from Russia, but it's certainly not in their interest for Iran to be destroyed. Let's put it that way. And as of tonight, Trump is threatening to destroy Iran. Okay, right, okay, I just wanted to bring that one up because that was kind of one of the highlights. The next thing I'm going to go into, because it obviously says, bolt thy last I am Jew message, seal all. If you go to the Jacob's Ladder decode. Again, like I say, the ladder decodes and it tells you that there's a ship called the Argus Navis coming. But the place that the way I found, I'm going to use the seals and go back over it because I found something. Like I say, I don't want to make a promise on it, but it certainly makes complete sense given the nature of what I'm uncoding. I'll explain now. Let me just clear the board and get on to the next part, and we'll go from there. Just bear with me a second, folks. Okay, before I get into the next bit, I didn't really explain this either, but where this code stopped and these downloads stopped, all I'm relying on now, and I'm getting these codes, is really, I know it's going to sound crazy to most people, but I'll get triggers. I don't know whether the information's been down. I don't even know how this works, but as the information maybe has been downloaded already through the period that I did, and now all I'm getting is things that something that will keep cropping up in, I don't know, either on TikTok or Facebook or something. You know, they just come from the most random of weird places. But I don't know how it does it, but it triggers something to tell me, and then I go there and then I find out the kind of, well, I guess what it's trying to show me. Okay, this is a good example. Okay, I will break the bow of Elam. Right, okay. Now, I was watching it, and whilst Iran was has been getting destroyed, and they're not the bad guys as such. They're actually the good. Well, they're the good guys, really. They're not. They weren't bothering anyone. They're not in danger of getting a nuke. In fact, they murdered the Ayatollah, and they're killing men, women, and children indiscriminately. And I'm talking of America and Israel, and as they have done forever. Okay, but it says, I will break the bow of Elam. Now, one good code, because, right, Elam, what happened? These people are all saying, oh, that Iran, and they'll tell you that Elam is Iran. Well, funny, because even in the Old Testament, the rewritten version, it refers to Iran as Persia anyway. So, obviously, Elam, I don't know who's done it, but basically they got all these different places, but they seem to think alike. Well, they think Elam is Iran, and they're saying, oh, it's breaking the bow of Iran, basically, and just kind of, but it's the reverse of the reality. So I kind of looked at it, and then I saw it, and then I realised I realised, and then I don't know, this calculation started in my head, and I realised what it is, and it's one good code that really sweeps. Bear in mind, you got a place called Edom as well. I don't know how this fits in with it all, but what I see is dome. Okay, and I think what this relates to is the Iron Dome. Okay, but we need to be a bit more specific than that. He specifically says, I will break the bow of Elam. I think this comes out from the Old Testament. It's been put in, from the original. It's been put in to kind of like, you know, and when they've switched everything and changed it all round and tried to make it look like the Middle East, obviously you uncode this and it throws it back in, well, it turns it in the opposite direction. Okay, I will break the bow of Elam. So what is the bow of Elam? Well, I realise what it is, given this as well, and I just thought of that one, but either way. Okay, what I realised is Elam is an anagram of Alem. Okay, now given the fake Holy Land, or supposed Holy Land, Jerusalem. Okay, so I will break the bow of Jerusalem. And this is at the time of war, and Ezekiel, well, we'll come to that, because the words Ezekiel 38 said, I tie KLZ, tie the RGH. And this is all about the war. Okay, but what is the bow of Elam? Well, the Iron Dome consists of, well, it's all blasphemous really, David's sling, and you've got these thads and I don't know, whatever else they've put in there, the Americans, but it's also the arrow. It's called the arrow system. I think it's called the arrow system. It's definitely the arrow, but obviously they've run out of missiles. So you can safely say that the bow of Elam the arrow system has been basically has been broken because, well, and because there's, I think because the missiles have run out. Obviously, they're not defending. Iran bound to know, they know where these things are. These interceptors, they bound to be clocking where they're coming from. Now they've stopped the interceptors and they haven't got anything to defend. They've literally taken out the interceptor, the things that fire up the interceptors, and they've absolutely, so they've literally broken the bow of, the bow is the arrow system and of Jerusalem that protects. Well, it's Jerusalem, obviously, but it's the Iron Dome that protects the whole of our lives, the whole of Israel, really. Okay, so when he says I will break the bow of Elam, he's not talking. This code really does switch it on his head. Okay. I think that's all right. Okay, I've gone off the track a little bit. Right, now I'm going, right, well, I'd say it's gone off the track. It's an important code because it puts the what's going on with the war in, basically Iran, it's not the evil of Iran, it's the evil of Israel and America, I'm sorry to say, but and you've got your arm, honestly, we're heading for disaster, folks, so you need to get right with your arm while you can. Okay, bear with me a second. Okay, folks, right. Okay, I found, I say a new code. It's not a new code. It's completion of one that I'd already found, really. Or found, well, how I can, right. The weird thing of this is that I get the answer and I do something that really is just, appeared to be random not random at the time, but it didn't have anything to back it up. And then as time goes on, I kind of find the kind of questions or the instructions that sort of construct what I originally did. Everything kind of seems to be in backward order. Okay. I got to break this little bit down first because this is going to become relevant when we go into the next bit. Because I've broken the code, I believe, for the Philosopher's Stone. Okay, now the Philosopher's Stone is turned into lead into gold, and the secret to, well, they say eternal wealth and the elixir of eternal life. Well, again, like I say, I don't want to go promising anything stupid, but what I found makes absolute complete sense when you see what I found. But there's an awful lot of things that you need to kind of understand to back it up. Okay, so 33 is alphabet code, basically. It's CC, okay? And the bullseye code. Okay, right, the first place I want to start is we live in the covenant, which is a promise, simulation, or covenant, and that, for some reason, this is done in Latin. Now, simulation has two meanings. One is simulation, one is copy. So we got a covenant simulacrum, which is a covenant simulation, the real promise, Jerusalem. And like I say, when I showed you that just now, as well, with the bow, the bow of Elam, if you take out the if you take the Alem, and this become and Israel, Israel is no more, and it kind of like destroys the whole thing. If Israel isn't saved, basically, and is basically lost, then it isn't the real promised land, because it isn't. It's Illyria. But it only leaves this alternative, the correct version, which is Jerusalem. Right, okay. Now, Jerusalem, right, the covenant simulacrum, the real version, not the copy, is Jerusalem. The covenant simulacrum is Jerusalem. How do I know this? Okay, well, there's an instruction written in the description, and it says am CC on Venta Silurum. Now, if you Google Venta Silurum, you will find a square fort in the shape of a compass, funny enough, and it has a north gate, south gate, east gate, and west gate. obviously that if you're looking from above, and it actually does obviously lines up east, north, east, south, west. So this is where your square and compass with your G. It's a square fort, and literally from the heavens. And it is, this is, I'm talking, this thing is like one of the best kept secrets out, or the veil that's been thrown over it, because this fort is ancient, a lot more ancient. They tell you the Romans built it in 74 AD, I think. Absolute nonsense. This fort is much, much older. Okay, so there's more to this to come, but obviously you've seen this symbol. Actually, I have it. A version of it there. Okay, just to add to it as well, the word compass is also CMAP SOS. Now, if you've been following this, you'll know that if I add C to King Solomon's temple, then add C to King Solomon's temple, and then the other C to King Solomon's key, which is the other hill fort, Llanmelin. They're two forts that are about a quarter of a mile apart. One was owned by Bran the Blessed. We'll get into that because that's part of the Philosopher's Stone. His son was Caradoc, who is the code for King David. I'm not sure it's a code or it was his real first. His name may have been David Caradoc ap Bran. Which is son of Bran, and then you've got Coelin ap Caradoc, who would be Solomon. And in fact, his name, when you unscrabble Coelin ap Caradoc, says, what's it say? It says, "See, all codes see, go and pray." Again, I can't get into all of this, but like you can see that everything is all about this. This is why this C, the 33 and the G is also important. I say it's Freemasonry, but it's not really. It's Solomon's Code, and it's been changed. So Freemasonry I can only assume, must have been the ones that were hiding it and keeping it from us, the truth. Probably responsible for rewriting the ancient Welsh Bible and creating the new nonsense, or the messed up version that we now have. Okay, CMAP SOS. So effectively, I best do it. So if I see I'm going to put that as well, because what you have is Llanmelin is a hill fort in the shape of a key. It's not that type of key, it's more of a modern key, which is amazing. And then on the temple itself, which is in Jerusalem, there's an ancient temple there, which is the real temple. There's on it, you've got in the stonework is a padlock. It's built into it. If you it would be under Kyle Went. I haven't got right. Let me do this first. Okay, so what you've got is Solomon's. I put temple key. Obviously, it's 2C, so it'd be C Solomon's temple, C Solomon's key, or vice versa. But what you do is then you got lock. Oh, it's King. Sorry, King Solomon, and then you put the C in. Right. Okay. So what you've got is King Solomon's temple with it, and then you drop the C at the beginning, wherever, it doesn't really matter. So King Mon's temple. So lock in Mon's key. So this is your 33 to lock the temple and the key. Why is it? What's the Mons bit? Well, it's in the county, or the modern day county or borough of Monmouthshire, which is obviously King Solomon's temple, which is where this Venta Silurum, the Roman allegedly given to it by the Romans. I don't know how they did it, but they've somehow, I don't know, probably in hiding it, they've just encoded it even better. But when I've worked it all out, basically this is the real Jerusalem, named after the constellation Gerus the crane. Okay, which comes from the constellation of the Argus Navis, which is the name of the ship, or the rescue ship. We'll get into that as we go on. But as you can see, there's all this CC. Right, now I'm going to go to the stars and show you the new code that gives you the instructions to basically locate it, written in the stars. It's absolutely amazing. Bear with me a second. Okay, folks, now, right, okay, right, as I did with the Elon's EGOD chip, I forget the other ones. There was the James Webb Telescope one. I forget. Well, there was an entire crabapple code, crabapple fires, Jerusalem fires, all those events that were then uncoded with all. Well, and essentially, it all comes back to the same thing. But just to show you, and bear in mind, well, I've only just got this bit. I realised something. But I'd uncoded this bit on its own, and it makes a code. The original code said Marco realizes a RC reset, Roman Catholic reset. Get sign, add moon, join the RGH. Okay, so that on its own worked anyway, and I obviously was meant to find it. But I think this part now really puts it all together. And I'm hoping proves beyond any doubt that this is clearly not chance, because I don't even know sometimes how I do this. I really don't. The only thing I can say is that going back, like I said, my head was like the M4 motorway in rush hour. My head, it was literally constantly getting these codes, and I was pumping out a video a month with multiple codes in it, all connecting together with all these things. Then it stopped and it went completely blank. And all I get, well, as you can tell by the length of time between the videos, obviously I'm not getting a great deal now, but I'm just getting these triggers that are kind of seem to be tying everything up. Okay, what this gives me, right, okay, to CC. What does it mean to CC? Well, it's the instructions to CC. Okay, now remember, so lock in Mon's temple, so lock in Mon's key. Now, all I do again is I literally use all the letters, break it down, and now I'm going to complete the full code that gives you the instructions to something that I'd already created long before I got the instructions. So, like I say, it's kind of, I got the answer, now I get the quiz. But this is showing you that when I got the answer, from somewhere. I don't even know how to explain it, but it was put into my head to do it in a certain way. And now I'm getting the proof to say that's the case, because I didn't have the instructions to make the code. I just made the picture, whatever, the map code, and then obviously get the instructions afterwards. Okay, bear with me a second. Just to explain as well, the reason I looked at this one's always bugged me. Triangulum, the triangle. Now, I knew this was something to do with this, with the Cancer, the Cancer constellation that I do. Well, we'll get into that, but on the temple. But I knew there was something with it, it was a triangulation, because I've got the initial triangle on the map was where literally where the Cancer constellation goes onto the atlas to give you the code that I'm about to show you. Bear with me a second, it'll make more sense hopefully as I do it. Okay, folks, right, as you can see, unbelievably, this actually, right, okay. I've obviously I've had to rejig it a little bit, but it kind of makes both of them work. The CC, I think they meant it's like a dual. It's kind of like a dual code. You find one with the CC and one with the and one that is relevant to now. And I will show you how. Bear in mind that effectively is Easter Monday Tuesday now. Technically, I've just gone into, but we've just passed Easter. Okay, right. Okay, and there's a reason I'm telling you that. Okay, Marco sees a Roman Catholic lawyer reset, triangulate Jerusalem, and I'll show you how I triangulated Jerusalem. These are the instructions to build basically the map code to locate Jerusalem, to lock in the key, the padlock, and on the temple in Jerusalem, and basically gives you a message as well of what to do. It says, get sign, add moon, join the RGH. Well, if you've been watching this, you'll know the sign is Cancer. It's my birth sign, which is why you've got a royal arch in Cancer, a royal portal. Add moon, because Cancer is a moon sign as well, but we'll add that in, and join the RGH. Well, the RGH is the Royal Gwent Hospital where I was born, or the acronym for it, but it's also the River Jerusalem and the Hill Fort Key. Right, I'll show you that now, because it's the three important seals of Solomon that basically link up to create the Cancer constellation map. Okay, but the first thing I want to show you is unbelievably, well, like I say, I'm sure this is relevant to it. I'll just write that in for now. And the word Easter, Roman Catholic liar of Easter, the resurrection. If you remember the code I did with I think it was the Jerusalem fires that said no truth in Christian crucifixion, redeemer or return. I'm afraid to tell you folks, and I don't say this lightly, because obviously I when I set out to do this, all I wanted was the truth, to know who do we follow, and if Jesus was the answer, I would have followed. I was willing to, I did. I was kind of going that way until all this happened to me, and it just turned my. And once I asked the question of what was the truth, and I got a whole lot, massive amount more than I bargained for. But as you can see, this is, what are the chances to be able to CC firstly? And connect the TH to that as well. The TH is the Catholic, this TH thing. Right, it's the triple. It's called this is the Solomon's triple tau. Well, the triple tau. I can't go into it all, but basically, a triple torus bullseye is a 3-dart bullseye, and each bullseye is worth a CC, a 33. When you add them up, basically, so your triple dart bullseye, you'll have to go into the dart code and everything else. It equals 99. Well, that's Job 9:9. Job 9:9 says, I see truth return, so I return on H. Please set all evac H IDs. Well, the triple H is the hospital, the H-man, which is same as H is the Messiah. Messiah is an anagram of same as H. The H-man, and then the H is the Hill Fort Key. So that's your triple 33. Now bear in mind, I was born in the hospital. The H-man, the Messiah, unbelievably, the temple, when I was in my mother's womb, I was put into the matrix, in the house that literally sits on top of the temple. I'm not even kidding. It is like literally from my mother's kitchen window, you could see the lock. That's literally where it is. And my registered address at birth was Kyle House, which if you go on to see the temple at Ventus Ilurum, you'll see there's a white house right next to it, and that's where I was literally in the womb, and then got taken to the RGH, the Royal Gwent Hospital, and I'll show you how, but that's also the coordinates for what I'm going to show you how to build now. Right, bear with me. In fact, let's do that. Honestly, it's astonishing. This is so incredible. Well, only the creator could put this together. It cannot be accident. I've rattled this over and over in my mind. Is it a coincidence? But there's no way, and I don't even know how I'm capable of doing it. Okay, but what I was drawing was basically you got the two pillars, which I can decode those as well. I put in the royal arch, because that's what the royal arch in Cancer is also Solomon. This is not the best picture of it, but I don't know how well you're going to see this, but I don't know if you can see it, but there's an arrow pointing to the Cancer, so I didn't put that on there. This was on something else. But I can literally decode all of all of it practically. I think if you notice the 7 stars, they're the Pleiades. Well, Pleiades, an anagram of Please ID, and then you've got the Sol Moon code. You've got the square and compass, which represents the fort. I can literally connect it all together. Right, okay, but what it says is, right, so triangulate Jerusalem. Well, I did that on the map. In reality, it's the triskelion. There's a code for that as well. It's written in the constellations again. But what it is, and effectively, you got Swindon, Exeter, and Anglesey, Holyhead. Okay, so when I drew the original map, this is what I drew. All this does is literally this, right, the template Mon is an anagram of template Mon. And what it is a start, basically what I'm showing you, it does a template of what's on the map, but it kind of straightens it up into some, well, I'll show you now. But, right, now the biblical holy down, when it says I see truth returns, and I've got something else on, there's a combination, right, there's a combined nations key code as well, which I'll get to. But what you got is, right, they basically remapped the world and hid everything. But the original, really, this is Canaan, Swindon, England is Canaan. This is also this is why you got a triskelion. You know the triskelion, you've seen it. Well, that's in Welsh. A triskelion means 3 skeleton. Well, it's a 3 skeleton: Canaan, Egypt, and Judah. So what you've really got, England was Canaan, London is Babylon as well, by the way. England is Canaan, Cornwall, which is represented by Exeter and Down, was ancient Egypt. They switched it with Kemet, which is modern day Egypt. It's not the one they're talking about in the ancient times. Judah is Wales. But if you look at this again, you've got the message SKEE, seek, and Yah. Well, Yah is the creator, the one that gives me all this information. How he does it, I cannot explain, but well, like I say, you got to ask yourself how I was able to find any of this. And I don't even know, because now I'm not getting the information. I'm not really finding anything other than, this is about the only other code in the Philosopher's Stone. But obviously very important. Okay, so it says triangulate Jerusalem. Well, this is the triangulation of Jerusalem, basically, which is what I do when I do, right, firstly, if I triangulate Jerusalem, these are the pillars of the temple, by the way, in the Royal Arch, because the G seal, which has got the temple pillars. I don't know if you can see that. I can decode most of that. You can see there's a ladder, an ark ship, a ladder. You've got the beehive, which is the beehive cluster in Cancer. You've got the sun and the moon, or the Sol Moon. You've got, like I say, I could go into it. The checkerboard, the secret of the checkerboard is the Black Knight. It's the Black Knight satellite that connects, basically, that's where the information has been downloaded from. I don't know how that is even possible, but it is. That's where I got it. Okay. Right, but firstly, okay, so effectively, there's your triangulation. So you got, and again, it's the same thing. You got on here, you've got your Swindon, your Canaan, you've got your Egypt, your Exeter, and you've got your Judah, Anglesey, Holyhead. All it's done is straightened it up. But what you've got down, what in real terms is kind of here, I think, the 2 forts roughly. But what it's done to make it, well, just to so you can make sense, is you got the 2 forts. Now I'm drawing in. Now what I'm doing is get sign. So this is the sign. This is the constellation of Cancer. This is literally what Cancer, the name stars in Cancer, actually look like. This is what it looks like. Obviously a bit longer, but you've got these 2 stars in the middle. Okay, so if I connect them and then I join it there and there, Right, get sign, add moon, and then what you've got is you've got the river, which is the River Sab or the River Severn, which was in ancient times was called the River Sab, and this is why you took your Sab bath at Jerusalem. Okay, and then by here now it says add the RGH, so you've got the river. Well, in real terms, it would be here somewhere, I suppose. So you've got your river, which is just south of Jerusalem, which is the Sab River, which was changed by the Romans to, well, supposedly to Sabrina. Interestingly enough, you've got the Sab and Iran there as well. And the date, well, it was a Saturday, the Sabbath, that Iran was attacked as well by the pretenders, Israel. So I don't know whether that's related to it. Well, probably, because he's there. But you've got the river. So it says get sign, add moon, joy. Well, this is your triangulate, the river, Jerusalem, and the hill fort key. So you've got the key there. You've got your lock there, your padlock, which unlocks the matrix or the matrix. You just add P, which I've done as well, and then you've got the river. So then you've got the Royal Gwent Hospital. Plus you've got where I was in the with my registered address right on that temple, and I was taken to the RGH. So I came in the RGH in the month of June the 30th, that's my birthday, under the sign of Cancer, which is a moon sign as well. So you've got my complete birth code in there, including the place where I entered this world and where I live now, because I live just off that lock. Okay. Right, connect the TH. Well, I've done that because right, okay. There's a bit more to this, because this is where the Philosopher's Stone comes in. Right, I'm going to have to clear this and start again with the Philosopher's Stone. Okay, bear with me a second, folks. Oh, before I do, let me just show you the 3 seals. Okay. This is the river seal. As you can see, Solomon is looking in the reflection of the river. What you'll notice is I don't know how well you can see it, but it's not the best picture of it. But what I thought was interesting with this one as well, you've got the 4 angels, because there is a 4 angel code. I'll show you that in a second. But what you've got, if you look in the reflection, you've got a paper ship. On the other side, you've got a level. Okay, there's more code to that. In fact, I better do that one next. Right, bear with me a second, folks. Okay, as you can see, I've put, right, the seals on the board. I've kind of simplified them a little bit just to try to show you how this all fits together, and really how kind of, well, impossibly clever it is. Okay, right, okay. Right, firstly, it's made up of 3 seals. Obviously, I can't draw everything. Interesting. I just want to show you this as well. Oh, no, I'll show you at the end, actually. Right, you've got the river seal, and what you've got are these tiny, well, you can't see it on there, but what I've done, it's a reflection of a paper ship. Okay, there's a reason for that. Because the local paper for South Wales is called the Argus. The South Wales Argus is the paper of Monmouthshire, basically. I think they're based in Newport. They were. I don't know where they. I think they might have moved now, maybe to Cwmbran, but they were in Newport for as long as I was doing this code. They were in Newport. Okay, so the South Wales Argus and what it is a paper ship. Okay, right. Okay. So you've got the river seal is that one. You've got the Jerusalem Temple seal is that one. That's why it's got the pillars and the checkerboard. I'm simplifying this because I could go into more detail of the things on there that I've encoded. This one, there's a load of symbols in this one that you won't see very well. You certainly won't see it, I don't think. Unfortunately, this seal only exists. It's on Edinburgh Lodge number 1. In Scotland. I know that's where it is. It's the only way I could find it. It was down originally as Melchizedek's seal. Well, if I'm following this, Melchizedek is how this all opened up. The order of Melchizedek was C-Mel, Seek H-I-D, or Seek. H-man ID, no, seek HID, which is how I ended up finding the H-man and everything else. Okay, but as you can see, I don't know how well you can see this, but there's a H and a crown on the top there. So we've got the H and the G. Obviously the G connects to the temple, and then the R connects. So we've got the the RG on the temple overlaps with this because that's the key that unlocks the padlock on the temple. And then you've got the H, but that also gives you the Royal Gwent Hospital, which is the hospital I was born at, which was the Royal Arch, which is the Royal Arch in Cancer. Why royal, I don't know. Interestingly enough, and I don't know whether this is relevant or not, but this one keeps coming up, and if you look at it, what you'll see in each corner is an angel's face. You can see the wings, right? Unbelievably, I don't know, and apparently there's another one in Britain, but I cannot find it for love nor money. I saw it once, but this is the Cas Newydd, or the Newport, where the Royal Gwent Hospital is. The Newport Hospital, if you notice, has got the same angel face on top of it. If you look at the shield, it's yellow and yellow. The word yellow in Welsh is melyn. It's spelt with a Y, but obviously, and then you've got a V in red. And bear in mind the Newport is called Cas Newydd, which is the Cas bit is obviously the Cassavac, but it's also, if you look at the red V, it's if you put it together, basically you get the sacred V of Melyn. If you put V into Melyn, you get Melvin, which is I'm Marco ap Melvin. My father's name was Melvin. My grandfather's name was Melvin, and obviously it's the replanted tree is the Mel is an anagram, also an anagram of elm. So it's the elm tree, the replanted tree. Okay, right. Okay, I don't want to get too off the track. Right. As you'll notice, there's no letter on this one. I don't know whether it's been replaced perhaps or something. I don't know. You never know with these seals. But I'm using what they're showing. I mean, this one is superb. This one is an original, I think, but that's engraved on a building and nobody should even spot it. It's not, you won't find it easy, let's put it that way. But obviously I managed to come across it just not by sheer chance, but because I was led to it. Okay, right. The central part there is actually a hexagon. Okay, take the word hexagon, it's a hex on G, right? If you put a hex on G, it means the G went. Well, that's the first part of the code for that, so it's Gwent. Monmouthshire is in the county of Gwent, okay, where the G went. And Solomon lost his kingdom, basically, which is Coelin ap Caradoc. Okay. On this side, you've got a level, what they call a Masonic level. It's not really Solomon's level, but a levels. Well, the Gwent levels are actually just, they're basically right along where I drew the map ship. The first map ship, basically, the coded drawing of the map ship is literally on the Gwent levels. It's made up of, like I say, you'd have to go back through the videos to find it, but you've got the Gwent level. So first part of it is Gwent. So you've got the Gwent levels, then you've got Jerusalem. Okay, here's where it gets crazy, because when you take this, not only is it your map SOS and that, when you take the functions, you get arc and angles. Well, if you take the 4 archangels, you get Gabriel, Michael, Raphael, and Uriel. Okay, take the word Jerusalem, seal GMRU. So how do I seal it? Well, I seal it with the Coelin ap Caradoc, when he says all code C, go and pray. Well, if I draw in the code upside down as it's reflected in the water on that seal, because it's a reflection, not only is it me where I stand with my arms up, in a letter Y with my head down, obviously praying, the same way I pray, in the reflection, you actually see you get the picture for the Cancer constellation, the moon and my head represents the moon, obviously, as well. But so you've got the archangels, seal Gymru, well, that's GY, same thing again, MRU. When you unscrabble this, it also, Gymru is an anagram of Mr. Guy, which is me, Mr. Guy, Marco Guy. Again, how, I don't know, but again, when I talk about Solomon Z as well, if I go to the key seal, right, on the key seal, you can see it says MELIN, and there's even a dot after the N to let you know it's the end of it. The word clan is right, okay. If I take the word, right, if I take the word Clan Melin, there's more to it than this, but okay, Clan Melin, right, it's not, right, if I replace, right, what I'm going to do is switch the C, the L, I'm going to move the L here, switch it with the C. So what you've got is clan, now you've got Clan Melin. Now if I use the word David, it says I add V. The Clan Melvin, well that's my family. Like I say, my name is Marco John Ap Melvin Guy. My father's name was Melvin Ap Melvin Guy, and my grandfather's name was Melvin, I'm not sure, Ap Robert. So my grandfather would be the root of the mel tree, which is an elm. Okay, so the replanted tree would be I'm assuming we must be the family of the line of Solomon on my grandfather's side, on Melvin on the Melvin Guy side. Where else have I? Hexagram as well. Just so you know, you got the hexagram every time. The star of Iad V. Funnily enough, the star of Iad V is me. But anagram it says RGH exam A, and then what you do is use the pyramids, the atlas, the seals, and the stars. And what you get is an RGH exam, a pass, RGH. Well, this is, like I said, and then you've got, it's shown as this being the LZ, this being the rendezvous. Even the Sab River is, when you take the words, its modern day name is the River Severn. When you take that, it's seen RV, seen the rendezvous. The rendezvous for the Argus, basically the Argus Navis, which is Solomon's as well, with the compass, the fort in the shape of a compass. You got north, never eat shredded wheat, which is also NEWS. So you got so what you've got is the news paper ship on the Gwent levels, which is the Argus. We know it's the Argus Navis because it's the Jerusalem, the crane, comes from the constellation of the ancient constellation of the Argus Navis that was split into 3. Okay, right, bear with me a second because I'm just going to add one more, and then I'm going to need to do the Philosopher's Stone. Right, I'll just do this last one and we'll wrap up because I'm getting tired now. I don't know how long till the next one, if there will be a next one, the way things are going. But hopefully the ship will arrive quite soon. I'm just waiting for China and America to really get Russia to all go to war with Europe. Not that I want it to happen, but right, I forgot where I was going. Oh, the Argus, right, okay. So if I take just to show you how crazy this is, G-Roost the crane, okay, this represents, because every new port, which it is going to be, because it's an LZ, a landing zone, every new port needs a crane. How to draw a crane, I don't know, I've forgotten. And that symbol is actually, you can actually make that from off this seal here. You've got a G and a crane. You just need to adapt it, basically. I'm not even going to bother, but basically every new port needs a crane. So you've got G-Root is the crane. It's where the port or the dock is, where the ship comes in. Then you've got the Argus Constellation, which is, the Argus Navis, the original constellation, was split into 3. Carina the keel, which is also how I know because it's a car in a keel, which is the map on the Gwent levels actually is, the ship is made up of the M4 motorway. So you got Carina the keel, that was the first clue to the map ship, the Atlas ship. Carina the keel, poop is the poop deck. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I thought it was I thought somebody had changed it, but they clearly, well, it was meant to be this way. G-Roost the crane, Carina the keel, poops the poop deck, and Vela the sails. Okay, when you unscrabble that lot there, and you add because the crane, I always thought that the crane was part of it, but it isn't. It's separate. But it's obviously the crane. G-Roost the crane represents the port. These three represent the ship, because the Argus Navis constellation is also called the ship. Okay, but when you do it, it says, what does it say? It says, Argus ship reel. You can check this yourself. Just cross off the letters. Argus ship reel. I pick up the people that evac Earth. Okay, right, I'm just going to hold you there a second, folks. Okay, there's also I forgot about this one. We better put this one in as well. Okay, now on the seal, you always see this all-seeing eye, which apparently is connected to the Messiah. Well, so they say. Well, like I say, I don't know. I mean, it's not a very good one because this is like a mishmash of a load of Masonic stuff as well. But as you can see at the top, you've got the all-seeing eye. Well, what does that do? Right, well, it's the Eye of Providence, which is a code in itself. It's the eye, basically, it's the eye provides, and all you need to do is Providence. You put literally the letters in, ES, EVID, and then what you get, the eye provides evidence of. Well, what does it provide evidence of? Well, it's EVESID, Eve's ID. Well, if you've seen these videos, even though they've tried to squash my apple out on Google, you'll find that there's a mound just across the road on the corner of the fort, and it represents the reskinned apple of Eden, basically, which goes nicely with the Cancer constellation because it's Cancer, the cancerous crab apple, basically, and it's this represents the reskinned apple of Christianity, basically religion. It uses it for even for the Stargate, because that's the Stargate as well. You can even tie the Elon's EGOD chip. I don't want to get into too much with it, but basically you got the crab apple. It looks like a good apple, but it's a crab apple. Even though it looks like an apple, it's not a good apple. It's a crab apple, and obviously it gives, and the core of it has cyanide in it, which connects to 3i Atlas, which I did in the last video. That one I would say was well, it's obviously gone past Jupiter now, so I think it's safe to call that the Atlas a last. Well, and 3i is ninth letter of the alphabet, 999 messenger. Well, it left messages all the way through. It was throwing out cyanide. It was throwing out cyanide and what was the other thing? Amino acids. When they checked it, well, amino acids is sugar. Sugar is Argus, so you're either going to go with, sugar is an anagram of Argus. That's your amino acids, your sugar, SUGAR, or you got your cyanide, cyanide core, which is your crab apple of Eden, and your religion, basically the religion that just lied to you completely and indoctrinated us from the day we were born into believing that the Bible is correct. Well, it isn't. It's been rewritten, and obviously this code is built into creation, so there's no question there is nobody but the creator that could have put all this code together and revealed it to me, who's got no never did, as I've always said, I've never done coding before. I'm not even intelligent, folks. Take away take away the code, the what comes into my head, and I have literally got no clue of where to go or what to uncode. And I even look at this and think, how on earth did I do this? Okay, but to go with the padlock, there's also a combination code. Okay, of all the places that I've uncoded, right, you've got, right, I did this for a reason, because Eve's ID represents Eden. Eden is Jerusalem, the Jerusalem, Venta Silurum, the Jerusalem of the real Jerusalem with a G, was built on Eden. It's the same place. In Jewish literature, they say that the temple and Jerusalem were built on Eden, and it is correct. Okay, so the Middle East story of it being in Persia on the Euphrates, the 4 rivers are the Y, the Usk, the Severn is the Great River, and the River Wye, the Y, the Usk, the Y, the Usk, the Nedden, which is now dried up, and the River Severn, so the 4 great rivers. Okay. Again, I don't want to go into it too much because I don't want to confuse it. But what you've got is Eden, Babylon. We've uncoded that as London, baby London, or baby, in modern day terms, it's the centre of London. The city of London is Babylon. It's baby London in the, baby Lon in the land of Nod. Because Canaan went out into Nod, that's how I encoded the first bit. He went out into the land of Nod. Well, Nod is an anagram of Don. Not the red Magadon, although it may be something to do with it. But Babylon would be baby London, which is the city of London that is inside Babylon the Great, which is Greater London. Okay, so you've got Eden, Babylon, and then you go to Thoth's code. He starts with Atlantis, then he goes to Kemet, and then that trail leads then to Rome. The 3 places where they opened up I don't know what they opened up, but they worship. Obviously, Rome is worshipping Amen-Ra. They've got everybody worshipping the serpent, and every time they pray, they're giving their prayers to Ra. But it basically is that's 1 set, 2 sets, and then you've got Canaan, Egypt, Judah. Oh, and with that as well. Obviously, you've got Canaan, Egypt, Judah. Not Judah, it's not a J, it's a Y, it's Judah, which is why you get Yah. And then what you've got is Siluria. So the key finds the keys to the kingdom, the original kingdom. So the final one is Siluria. But all you got to do is switch this round is B, A-R-K, K-E-Y-S, be Ark keys. Well, they are. The Ark is the Ark ship of the Covenant. The first Covenant was the box, which is buried under the same temple that I'm talking about in Venta Silurum, in a place modern day. It's called Caerwent. This is where I live. It's only a small little village in South Wales, and this is where this city, ancient city was, that is Jerusalem. It's now called Caerwent, where when Adam and Eve messed up, I guess, and Solomon messed up, the care went. And it was, Yah, he left and he divorced the Siluri, and this is where the kingdom of Mon fell. Right, okay, so you got the BR keys, so that's the combination code. Is just when you split it, it's combination code, it's the combinations code. Oh well, if you actually put the NED in there and then re-scrabble that, you get the end. Okay, it's because this is where the end was set from the beginning. Okay, bear with me a second. I am now going to get finally to the Philosopher's Stone. Okay, folks, like I said, right, with this one, I hate stuff, not hate it, that's the wrong word. I'm never sure with this. I always go on the side of caution because I don't want to promise anything that I don't I don't know. I'm going to show you the code that I found that I'm assuming has been shown to me because the Philosopher's Stone kept coming up. And when I looked into it, this is what I found. Okay, so, right, first thing, right, okay, it says it could turn lead into gold. Well, I think it's a lead into Old G. Well, Old G would be Old Jerusalem, and the lead bit is not. It's not alchemical as such, even though it might have been hidden as it, or they might. I don't know what they do, but basically, it turns a lead into gold. Well, the lead is Aldebaran. This is the bullseye star. Well, the bullseye star is the one that represents the bullseye in the heavens, where the Orion fires his bow. And then you get the code for that one. It says, he's seen Orion's riddle, which I have and decoded it. The second part is the Atlas starship. And then the third bit, which would be the Argus. And the third bit would be a Nibiru event. Well, Nibiru is the final event, which ain't looking good with the sun kicking up, and there's all sorts of problems going on up there as well, which are going to get worse once this is over. I'm not sure when that appears, but there's a second sun heading this way, or a rogue planet X, or whatever you want to call it. I've already decoded all this. But Bran lead. Well, King Bran of Siluria, Lamelin. Well, he's the king. And he was known as Bran the Blessed. Well, he was blessed with two sons. Well, David is Caradog, so which would be King David, and then Solomon, because he decoded him. His name wasn't really Solomon. His name was Coelin ap Caradog, as I've explained. And King Bran ruled from Lamelin, which is the key. The key, the hill fort in the shape of a key that connects to the padlock, which is the LZ, the RV, obviously, and then you get the river, so you got the RGH. But the word Philosopher's Stone, you need the Z, because it says open the ship, literally let's get rid of that a minute, because it's supposed to be the elixir for eternal life. So I think it's just a code. Open the ship, or SOSL, and then you just bring in Solomon Z, which is on the LZ Bran lead. Well, this is that one that says Melin. It's in a different order, but that would be a C and a Z. So Lockimond's key. Mel N-I, I think it is. So it's basically it's Melin, and then you've got the H in the crown. And the G as well, because the key locks into G, which is lock the key into the G, unlocks everything, the combination code, the ship, and everything else that I've shown you. On that note, folks, I am absolutely shattered. This video has taken a lot more time up than I thought. Now, going by every prophecy seems to tell you that there's the remnant will be saved. That those that are saved basically go on to eternal life. Now, I don't want to go promising eternal life, because I'm not, I don't see, I don't know, because it's so incomprehensible for me that I don't want to go promising things that I'm not sure. So I don't know, you can take that or leave it, but I'm showing you the code, so I can only assume it's right. But what you need to do is this, folks. You need to stand in the shape of a letter Y, bow your head down. Like I say, remember when I say you look in the river, because I got this code by doing my Sabbath. I don't know whether you need to. I mean, it might help. I don't know. But in the reflection, then I saw the Canaan, Egypt, the Judah, and Siluria. So you got this is it. But this is how I pray. Basically, I put my hands up. You put your sins on your palms. You put them up, you offer them up, and you ask for forgiveness. But you don't repent, because repent plays with serpents. So you're not repenting. Once you do it, you need to make sure that you do your best, not to sin. But I don't think most people sin that badly. Yes, cuss and swear is probably the worst one. But on the whole, but people just need to stop. And whatever you do, do not use this word. Because the crafty snake is an anagram of. So what you're supposed to do is name Yah. That's who you do. So you offer your sins up, and you at the end just say it's from. Well, I say it from Marco de Yah or Marco de Yahweh, but from Marco de Yah, and I ask for forgiveness for those sins, and basically, and then I do my Sabbaths obviously, and This is the Sab River, the 7 that I decoded, but do not name. This is the massive deception, and that's why the false one is all based around that place in the Middle East that is murdering and killing people and not the chosen people. This whole thing, it's a Rothschild, satanic, Ra creation, the whole thing. Christianity is led to deceive you. All religion is led to deceive you. Please don't fall for it. Just get right with the Creator, because I think, well, it's clearly time is running short. On that note, folks, yeah, bless you all.